Welcome back to another edition of The Explainer. Today, we're taking our source material and distilling it down to explore a destination that is, honestly, just completely unique. We're traveling to a place where the air gets thin, the history runs incredibly deep, and the local legends are quite literally roaring. We're talking about Bageshwar. It's this gorgeous town in the Indian state of Uttarakhand that somehow perfectly blends ancient mythology, super vibrant mountain culture, and extreme Himalayan adventure all into one absolutely fascinating location.
All right, let's dive right into this. What on earth could possibly connect a deeply meditating ancient sage, a fierce, roaring tiger, and a massive, freezing glacier sitting at 3,660 meters above sea level? I know, it sounds exactly like the setup to an epic fantasy novel, right? But the answer is an actual geographical place on the map, the town of Bageshwar.
So here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. First up, welcome to Holy Bageshwar. Second, the legend of the Tiger Lord. Third, vibrant culture and historic fairs. Fourth, gateway to Himalayan glaciers. And finally, planning your Bageshwar journey.
Starting off with Section 1, Welcome to Holy Bageshwar.
So, Bageshwar is located in the stunning Kumaon region of Uttarakhand. It sits comfortably at an elevation of 1,004 meters, which actually gives it a surprisingly pleasant climate, especially when you compare it to the freezing, snow-capped peaks surrounding it. But what really defines Bageshwar physically is water. The town is nestled exactly at the confluence where the Saryu and Gomti rivers meet. Because of this dramatic river junction, it's been considered a highly sacred site for centuries. Historically, it was known as the Tapobhumi, which means the meditation ground of the great ancient sage Rishi Markandeya.
Moving right along to Section 2, Legend of the Tiger Lord.
You know, what's really fascinating here is the name of the town itself. Bageshwar is actually a modern morphing of its ancient name, Vyagreshwar. This is derived from the ancient Sanskrit words Vyagra, meaning tiger, and Ishwar, meaning lord. So, Bageshwar literally translates to the abode of the Tiger Lord. But why a tiger?
Well, this brings us to an absolutely fantastic story. According to the Shiva Purana, sage Vashishta was trying to bring the sacred waters of the Saryu River down to earth. But there was a major problem. Sage Markandeya was deeply, completely absorbed in meditation right in the river's path, near a stone called Brahmkapali. The river stopped, not wanting to disturb him, and the waters started dangerously backing up. To solve this, Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati staged a divine intervention. They disguised themselves, Shiva as a fierce tiger, and Parvati as a helpless cow. The tiger roared and lunged at the cow. Hearing the poor cow's distress, Markandeya's meditation instantly broke and he rushed to save it. Shiva and Parvati then revealed their true forms, blessed the sage, and most importantly, the Saryu River was finally able to flow freely. Hence, the Tiger Lord.
And to honor that exact event, the Bagnath Temple was born. The site has incredibly deep roots. Its architectural timeline starts with stone figurines and initial origins dating all the way back to the 7th century under Katuri influence. But the grand, Nagara-style structure that stands exactly at the river confluence today, that was largely built around 1450 by the Chanda dynasty ruler Lakshmi Chand and eventually completed in 1602. Fast forward to 1996, and the state's archaeological department took over, sealing away several priceless 8th to 10th century idols within the complex just to preserve them.
Now here's something really unique. The crucial point of this temple is that it represents the endless cycle of life, preservation, and death. And this is brilliantly illustrated by a slightly dark daily tradition. The temple's daily arti, its ritual worship, is strictly connected to the river ghats outside. The custom dictates that the arti will only be performed if a physical cremation is currently taking place at the nearby riverbanks. If no cremation is happening that day, the priests symbolically burn a black blanket instead. It is a really powerful daily acknowledgement of the inescapable cycle of existence.
All right, Section 3, Vibrant Culture and Historic Fairs.
Picture this. Every January, during the festival of Makar Sankranti, Bageshwar hosts the absolutely massive Uttarayani Mela. Devotees gather before dawn in the freezing winter cold to bathe right at the confluence of the rivers. It's a practice believed to wash away sins as the sun moves to the northern hemisphere. The most devout folks even practice Trimagi, which is bathing for 3 consecutive days. But it wasn't just a spiritual gathering. Historically, this fair was a massive economic hub. For centuries, Bodhya merchants would travel all the way down from Tibet to trade spices, wool, and goods with the local Kumaoni people right here on the riverbanks.
But get this, the fair was way more than just a market.
It was a political catalyst. Because it drew such huge crowds from isolated mountain villages, the Uttarayani Fair became a primary communication network during India's freedom movement. In fact, the town of Bageshwar used this exact fair to successfully organize and entirely eliminate the oppressive coolie and beggar system that had been imposed by the British. The local resistance was so impressive that Mahatma Gandhi himself actually visited the town to honor their fighting spirit. How incredible is that?
Hey, the culture there thrives year-round. Aside from the Uttarakhand Mela, the region just pulses with seasonal celebrations. You have Harela in the monsoon, known as the Day of Green, celebrating the new crops. Then there's Vishu Aladi in the summer, which is filled with Bahati songs, vibrant folk dances, and amazing local fried snacks. And in mid-August, you'll find Gi Sankranti, an ancient tradition where farmers exchange gifts and agricultural bounties. The culture in Bageshwar is just deeply, beautifully tied to the land and the changing seasons.
Section 4. Gateway to Himalayan Glaciers.
And this number right here brilliantly illustrates exactly what I mean. 3,660. That is the breathtaking elevation in meters of the famous Pindari Glacier. While Bageshwar itself sits comfortably at about 1,000 meters, it acts as the starting line for treks that will take you deep into the freezing, high-altitude extremes of the Kumaon Himalayas.
If you're an adventure seeker or an adrenaline junkie, Bageshwar is your ultimate base camp. The Pindari Glacier Trek is a legendary 5 to 15-day journey through the Nanda Devi National Park. If you want something even more visually stunning, there's the Sundardunga Track. That translates directly to the Valley of Beautiful Stones, and it features incredible glacial lakes and waterfalls. And for history buffs who want a slightly more accessible hike, there's Pandastal, a gorgeous trek through green meadows up to an ancient site that's widely believed to be a battleground from the epic Mahabharata. But hey, what if you don't exactly want to spend 15 days hiking up a freezing glacier? Don't worry at all, the surrounding day excursions are just as rich. You can take a quick trip over to Bagnath to see these stunning 12th century Katuri temples sitting right on the Gomti River. Just 8 kilometers away is Udyar. It's this ancient natural rock cave filled with Shiva idols where tigers literally used to live. You can drive out to Vijaypur to relax in British-era green tea gardens with panoramic Himalayan views, or visit the peaceful village cluster of Khanda, famous for its Kalika Devi temple. There is for sure something for every pace.
Finally, Section 5. Planning your Bageshwar journey.
Because it's tucked so deeply into the mountains, there are no direct flights or trains that go right into the town. The closest flight drops you at Pantnagar Airport, which is roughly 180 kilometers away. Now, the most popular route by far is taking a train to the Kathgodam railway station, which connects easily to major cities. From there, it's about a 150-kilometer scenic drive by bus or taxi right into Bageshwar. If you're crazy enough to drive straight from New Delhi, just prepare for a beautiful, albeit long, 465-kilometer road trip.
Once you actually get there, you definitely won't struggle to find a place to stay. Accommodations range from budget-friendly dharmshalas for pilgrims all the way up to modern luxury hotels. But okay, my absolute favorite part to talk about is the food. You absolutely must dive into the local Kumaoni cuisine. Seriously, seek out kafuli. It's this rich, super delicious curry made entirely from local green leafy vegetables. And you cannot leave without snacking on aloo ke gutke. It's a legendary dish of traditional, heavily spiced boiled potatoes that perfectly suit that crisp mountain air. Now, to make sure your trip goes off without a hitch, keep these rapid-fire travel tips in your back pocket. The absolute best times to go are the mild months of April to June or post-monsoon from September to October, when the temperature sits perfectly between 15 and 25 degrees Celsius. When it comes to your cell phone, BSNL and VI networks are your best bet in these specific hills. But do not rely on them. I repeat, do not rely on them. Download your offline maps before you arrive. And a massive safety note, mountain weather changes in an instant. Always start your treks early in the morning and never trust a sunny weather app. Always, always pack that raincoat.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. Bageshwar is a true place of duality. So, based on all the material we covered today, which part is calling to you first? Is it the ringing temple bells and those ancient myths of the Tiger Lord, or is it the call of the wild, pulling you up toward those silent, freezing glacial peaks? Whichever path you end up choosing, Bageshwar promises an adventure you definitely won't soon forget. Thanks for hanging out with me on the Explainer today, and keep exploring.